Thanks for joining us for another episode of Capital City News, your connection to Salt Lake City government. On this week's episode, we hear from Salt Lake City Police Chief Mike Brown and Salt Lake City Mayor Jackie Biskupski about crime stats. Our History Minute is about Richard Kletting, the architect who created the first permanent home for the University of Utah. Let's get started with our look back. Salt Lake City Fire's ISO Class 1 Public Protection designation became apparent when firefighters sprang into action on Pioneer Day to stop a 3-alarm outdoor brush fire from consuming homes near the Ensign Peak trailhead just north of the Utah State Capitol. In just under 3 hours, over 50 firefighters and residents worked together to put out what could have potentially been a devastating wildfire. City leaders toured the damaged area the morning after to gain a deeper understanding of how funding of future equipment and personnel could save lives and property. The Salt Lake City Police Department just welcomed 20 new officers to the ranks. As part of its community policing model, new officers will be tasked with the boots-on-the-ground positions to get to know the communities they serve. Building rapport with residents and businesses is a top city priority. 40% of the new recruits are women and officers from multicultural backgrounds who better represent the city's growing diverse demographics. Building community ties in the neighborhood is important, and so are valuable resources and services. The city just launched its free bicycle registration program to help recover lost or stolen bikes, regardless of where you live in Utah. Police Chief Mike Brown and Mayor Jackie Biskupski waved down cyclists to get them registered. Sign up today at SLCPD.com. According to a recent pavement condition survey, nearly 2/3 of Salt Lake City streets are in poor or worse condition, and a large number of those roads need to be entirely rebuilt. Salt Lake City leaders are considering an $87 million general obligation bond to be put on the November ballot to fund street reconstruction. The city hosted a series of public engagement opportunities to gather community input, including public hearings, open houses, workshops, and coffee conversations with city council members to discuss how best to fix the city's streets. There's still time to weigh in. Take the survey today. For details, visit fundingourfuture.slc.com. Salt Lake City welcomed leaders from Matsumoto, Japan to celebrate the 60th anniversary of their sister city relationship. 33 prominent officials, business leaders, and delegates toured Salt Lake City and even participated in the Days of 47 parade, all while fostering international partnerships, cultural exchange, and continuing to make Salt Lake City a welcoming and inclusive place for all. Salt Lake City held a job fair at the Horizonte Instruction and Training Center. The event offered job training, resume building, interview prep, and more. Adult learners, members of refugee communities, and high school and college students attended the half-day event to explore career paths, discover internship opportunities, and even meet with potential employers, such as Salt Lake City Fire, Police, Airport, Amazon, UPS, Sephora, and more. According to CompStat, a performance management tool used by the Salt Lake City Police Department, crime is down in Salt Lake City. Mayor Jackie Biskupski and the Salt Lake City Police Chief Mike Brown are here to fill us in.
We have deployed law enforcement officers in a very different way, and we're managing crime in a very unique fashion. And the result of that is a decrease in crime by about 26%, which is unprecedented and unheard of across this entire country. And we're so excited about it, and I want Chief Brown to tell his story.
Well, let me put this in perspective. I mean, when people say a 26% drop in crime, what does that really mean? Well, year to date, that's about 2,500 less victims of crime.
Yeah.
Those are people that were impacted by crime, had lost property, had been assaulted. That is huge. I mean, that, as far as the big criminal justice wheel, that is less people that have to be incarcerated, less people that are victims, less people that are prosecuted, less people that are locked up in jail. That speaks volumes to what the work we're doing here in Salt Lake City.
It's an exciting story, and it's great success, and it's something to be celebrated. And as we continue to take a look at how we're impacting crime, we can address it much more quickly and easier than ever before based on how we are deploying our officers in the city.
We've tried for the last 2 or 3 years to put officers back into our community. It's a community policing model. That's what the mayor wants, that's what I want, and it's proven to have a huge success here in the city. I mean, we're putting more cops in beats so that officers, every neighborhood, every community has an officer. And that's how we want to police our city. We want to build those trust and inroads so that the community can work with us to reduce crime, but also that we can have an out-of-the-car experience to interact with kids, to have that positive interaction that we're really trying for.
And now for our History Minute.
Richard Kletting was one of the most important architects to leave his mark on Salt Lake City in its early days. With buildings he designed ranging in size from stately homes in Salt Lake City to the very Capitol building, there's no part of civic life that Kletting didn't touch. It's fitting then that he was the architect chosen to create the first permanent home for the University of Utah, which had bounced around locations across Salt Lake City for almost 50 years. Kletting designed 3 original buildings that are still in use by the university today, all along President's Circle. The first is known today as the John A. WIDTSOE building. That particular building was nearly destroyed by fire on the night of December 19, 1901, and was rebuilt in 1902. The second was the LEROY COWLES building that was originally designed to house the library. Today, it houses the mathematics department. The third building Kletting designed for the university is known today as the ALFRED EMERY building. Its original name was the Normal building and was used for the teachers' education department and served for a time as the home of the home economics department. All of those buildings are still in use around President's Circle at the University of Utah.
Thanks for joining us for another episode of Capital City News. Please join us next time to stay up to date on all the latest. For SLCtv, I'm Poonam Kumar, signing off from the Public Safety Building.